We're going to take a skewer. These are, like I said, ridiculously long, but I don't want them too short. I don't want to burn myself on the pot. Remember, it's a tool, not a toy. It's off. That's important. I'm going to take the pointed end of the skewer, put it to the back of the pot, and just hold it loosely. And when I cut my skewer, I want to give myself some room at the end that I'll be able to manipulate with my fingers. So I'm going to give it a couple of inches longer. Now this is where it gets tricky. When you cut your skewers, you have two projectiles. Ready? You watching? Where did they go? They went to each end of the room. Let's try that again. Keep the point in the pot, because that is like shooting a dart across the room. Give yourself some extra room at the end. I'm going to hold this end. Cut. It was a lot more manageable. We're going to use some adhesive to seal up our beads once we've finished rolling them. I really like to use gel medium. Those of you who know me have heard me talk about gel medium a lot. It basically is paint without the color. So it will stick pretty much anything to pretty much anything. It comes in glossy, it comes in matte, you can get different textures to it. I happen to like the medium, and I like it to be glossy. Onto your craft surface, I'm going to take a little scoop of the gel medium. Again, on the surface you can use anything on the craft mat. It's going to clean up, it's going to wipe up. Cover your container, you don't want that to dry out. And let's grab one of the skewers. Take one of your scraps of paper and see what would you like to be showing. If I have my choice, there's a lot of blue on this, so I'm going to go with a bluish theme. The end that I want to see will be the end that is down and furthest away. Down and furthest away. Put your skewer in the middle. Cover it with the paper and begin to roll. Now you'll see this is not rolling. This is not doing me much good. Cover it, crease it, and eventually you will get it to roll. I'm going to roll it up, roll it up, roll it up. When I get to the end, I'm going to hold the bead. Let me show. I'm going to put a finger on the bottom, a finger on the top, and it's not so tight. Out comes my skewer. So I'm left with the bead on both sides. Oops. You see that? Pushing in the edges will make it a nice even bead. I'm going to take my paintbrush, little bit. If you used a lot, you will have a gummy, gooey surface. Put a nice thin layer of gel medium. If you want to use your finger and apply it that way, that works. Just keep in mind that finger now has glue, so that finger can't touch anything. Finish rolling up your bead, pushing a little bit on the end. White glue works really well because it dries pretty quickly. And there you go. Now I want you to go ahead and start rolling if you haven't already. And I'm going to move on to the scrapbook paper, cardstock, thicker material. It's the exact same thing, not so hard, so you don't need to watch this one. Again, starting it is going to be tricky. So on these, I put a little glue on in the middle, fold up the edges, get a nice crease to it, and roll. When you're cutting the cardstock, you don't need to cut it as thick because it's already a thicker paper, it's going to be a thicker bead. When you start out with a thinner bead on the sides, your bead is going to end up thinner. If you start out with a huge thick bead, you're going to end up with a really big, huge, thick bead. So it depends on what you're doing, what your project calls for. Again, a little dab of glue. That was really not in the right place. Let's get that closer down to the bottom. Fold over. This is the last of the straight ones I'm going to do for you. How are you guys doing? Are you getting glue on your fingers? Are you using a brush or are you being messy? Roll her up. hold it nice. You may have to hold it for a minute, maneuver it, manipulate it a little bit between your fingers. See how that goes? And then we have another bead. Let me show you those to you. So here are a couple beads made from an ad that came in the mail. Here are some that I made with this really great patterned paper. It had a nice random pattern to it. Now we're going to take some of the triangle paper. Fold over your crease, and when you line it up, you'll notice that it's a little more angled at one side because I'm baking the bottom, that it will line up perfectly. And then I roll, keeping the point towards the center as I roll. Point towards the center. Point towards the center. Okay? These, when you're securing them, leave them on the sticks. A little bit at the end. Roll it up. And you have a really neat look to your bead. Okay? I'm going to let you guys roll beads, and I will see you in about 5 minutes with the next step.